Getting set to make their way down the walkway and into the octagon. You can hear the Japanese public address announcing in the background. You can see Maurice Smith, the Iceman, leaving his locker room. Kurt Jansen, his manager, at his side. In the new purple sweats of the Alliance, and there is the man truly displaying real American wrestling, Randy the Natural Couture.
He is a world-class Greco-Roman wrestler, current United States Greco-Roman champion at 214 pounds. He has superior condition. He is well prepared for this fight, having known for quite a while who he's going to face and having seen Coleman fight Smith before, and he exuberates quiet confidence. He isn't boisterous, keeps to himself, he's mildly confident, doesn't display a lot of emotion.
He said, with his week here spent in Japan with his wife Tricia, he felt like the giant who came down the beanstalk. Everything so small, but now a monumental, huge matchup against Maurice Smith, the kickboxer, learning submissions from Frank Shamrock, a master striker who delivers leg chops that feel like a baseball bat coming at your legs at 85 miles an hour. There is the defending UFC heavyweight champion, Maurice Smith.
Maurice, obviously our champion, tremendous experience, superb conditioning, a true puncher, kicker, great leg strikes with the kicks. He's also effective with his fists, a flamboyant confidence, always smiling, always has a one-liner for you. And of course, the alliance with Frank Shamrock will help teach him more grappling skills, particularly submission.
Smith has been very loose all weekend. When first having an opportunity to talk to him earlier in the week, I said, it's nice to meet you. He said, why don't you wait a couple of days and reserve judgment on if it's really nice to meet me. Tell me what you think after Sunday. All the competitors, I think it should be noted, Jeff, have great respect for each other, have enjoyed the camaraderie with each other this week on the island in Yokohama, Japan.
Well, I think what we've seen is everyone used to stick so close to a single discipline. There was animosity, superior animosity in the early UFCs between any of them. But as all of them have cross-trained, they have all formed some form of an alliance to learn skill. And thus, I think they've become more friendly crossing discipline lines.
The honoring of America here. Now inside the octagon is 5th UFC. Here's Bruce Buffer.
This is the event you've all been waiting for. This is for the UFC Heavyweight Championship of the World. Beginning with the fighter standing to my right. He is a 3-time United States National Greco-Roman Wrestling Champion, a 3-time All-American, a 2-time NCAA finalist, and the winner of the UFC 13 Heavyweight Tournament. Standing 6 feet, 1 inch tall, and fighting out of Corvallis, Oregon, he is the Ultimate Fighting Championships #1 ranked heavyweight contender. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Randy the Natural Couture. And to my left, He is a former heavyweight kickboxing champion and Muay Thai champion with a professional record of 48-5-2 with 35 by knockout. Coming to us from Seattle, Washington, he stands 6 feet, 2 inches tall and weighs in at 220 pounds. He is the reigning UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Maurice Smith!
One of our 2 featured matchups, the heavyweight championship between Randy Couture and Maurice Smith, the Greco-Roman wrestler against the kickboxer learning submission. Tail of the tape shows you one thing. It shows you this match is basically dead even. 34 and 36 ages, forget about it. They're in excellent condition. Both these fighters are almost exactly the same size.
I agree with you. The only difference really is their background in disciplines. I think the keys to win for Randy Couture: take advantage of clinches and ties to strike using punches or knees. Take down Smith clean so he doesn't get caught with any strikes on the way in. Be effective in the guard. In other words, try to pass it so you can get strikes as soon as he gets that clean takedown. And to be a patient, aggressive athlete.
It is underway. The heavyweight championship in the UFC. Smith, the striker, on his feet, can be devastating. And those leg kicks feel like a baseball bat, coming at your legs at 85 miles an hour. He is truly the most accomplished kickboxer in the world. And now still trying to strike. Couture obviously would like to take it to the ground as soon as possible.
Randy's pressuring quite a bit. He ate a right hand right there. I think the keys to win for Maurice Smith: catch Couture coming in, and he did with that strike he just used. A good guard defense if he winds up on the ground, which he is now. But he's backed up against the fence, and actually, he's got a guillotine. The start of the guillotine, he needs to get the arm in front. Actually, he doesn't have his arms locked yet, but he's in a position where he might be able to. He has to make, I feel, in order to win,
sit up
on
the fence, Mo.
Use of his knees, something
Gotta sit up,
has
right on the fence.
Neither fighter has ever been defeated in the UFC. Couture is 3-0.
Got a good grip, baby.
The champion, Maurice, 2-0. He beat Tank in 15, Mark Coleman in 14. Couture had the upset victory in UFC 15 in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi against Vitor Belfort.
There's a knee by Couture. He might have the opportunity to continue the knee there if Maurice wants to face him on his side. And he turns to his back now. Couture on the side mount.
Now Maurice knew in his heart of hearts eventually he would find himself in this position, with Couture taking it to the ground. And you talked to Maurice, Jeff, he said, I've got to remain very patient and not panic in this predicament.
And we will see how good his defense is in the guard here, because Couture got the lesson from Coleman's fight with Maurice Smith: not to sprint, don't be too aggressive. The whole way of winning in the grappling on the ground is incremental victories, small ones. Keep getting better and better position until you're in a position to strike and go for a submission lock.
It's interesting you mentioned that, Val, because if you will remember back to UFC 14, Mark Coleman seemed to punish Maurice Smith for a matter of minutes, 6-7 minutes into that match, and then fatigue started to set in. It did go the distance, both overtimes, and we should mention this bout time for the championship, 15 minutes with 2 3-minute overtimes if needed. Both fighters, I think, are prepared to go a long time and conditioned to be able to do so. The alliance is evident as Frank Shamrock trying to talk to his new partner, Maurice Smith,
try and get a knee in there,
the
Mo.
alliance.
It's a great combination. Master striker grappler, master striker hooking up with master submission grappler, and they're really now the middleweight champion, and Maurice defends the heavyweight champion, both in the same camp, both training together.
It's interesting, both kind of said, especially Frank Shamrock, it's like a kid at Christmas. They both have new toys to try to use. And this would be an area where Shamrock would be efficient on his back, trying to stay in the guard, but now Couture trying to strike. Remember, Maurice Smith is a kickboxer, though, Jeff. He has sustained many strikes in his fighting career.
Oh, Maurice, without a doubt, is a better striker, but at the same time, he doesn't want to give Couture some free shots. Now, there was a key lock by Randy Couture trying to bend the arm back. He needs to elevate the elbow in order to make it better. Now he's in a full mount.
In the meantime, Smith was able to get the left arm free, but he lost the guard as it was passed.
That's a great analysis. That's exactly what he did. He threatened in one area and then used it to be dominant in another, and that was going from the side to the full mount. Now let's see if Randy's going to be able to use it to his advantage, and I look for him to start to strike down.
Now remember, Maurice Smith is the first striker to emerge as a champion, but Couture defeated Vitor Belfort with punches, and I know we were all surprised to see that in UFC 15. So he has proven he is very proficient at that. We're about 3 minutes deep into our heavyweight matchup, now just over 4 minutes into the heavyweight championship.
What we're looking at right here is called a grapevine. Couture outside, coming in and hooking his ankles on the inside of the shins of Maurice Smith. The problem is when you lock that out, you keep your chest down on your opponent. You can't raise yourself up to strike, and that's why he keeps unlocking him. He's looking for an opportunity to come up and strike Maurice Smith with either elbow or probably punch. But Maurice Smith's guard here is very effective. Couture having a hard time of just simply breaking through and getting clean strikes. He was able to get to the mount, but thus far he hasn't been real effective in terms of offense. Maurice Smith's defense right now is still keeping him from being hit.
Now Smith has said also that he will strike from the bottom, and he'll take strikes just to hit something. He can be more dominant at times from the bottom. As we said, expect it to be a long fight. So Smith also, although it looks like the full mount is dominant, will take his opportunity from down low as he gets back into a half guard to try to get his strikes in on the natural Randy Couture.
And that's what's going to be a problem. If Couture's in the mount, he's too far forward really for Maurice to elbow. It has to be a punch, and the only way that can happen is if Randy raises up, which means he's in a position to punch too. But if he gets the guard on Couture, Couture will be down on his body with his head to the chest or towards the stomach, and then Maurice's elbows can come into play to go ahead and strike. He can also throw a punch straight down along his body. It may not have a lot of power, but what you're really looking for with these kinds of strikes is an accumulative effect or an opportunity for Maurice to punch there and then maybe get off his back to his feet where he can bring his striking skills into play.
You know, it's interesting, you talked about incremental and small wins in these matchups, and the people at home, some of them may not realize that, but little by little, Randy Couture trying to work the left leg out, not just pull it out of the half guard applied by Smith right now, but little by little, just trying to shake it free.
Right now he's really conceding that guard. He's not working to pull that leg out yet, but you're correct, absolutely. The only way you can get that out is to go ahead and wiggle your foot slowly, release the pressure Maurice has on it. You can see it's hooked at the ankle right there. And Randy, you know, if he wastes a lot of energy trying to pull it out, it's frustrating. And that's the one thing you don't want to have happen in a fight, is getting frustrated. If you can't remove it, work on something else until the opportunity to remove it presents itself. And now he's in a guard. Maurice has gotten him back into the guard, and now you'll look to go ahead, and this is where Maurice can strike.
He's got him high, but so can Randy Couture, right? And Couture tries to. Now a kick up towards the face. And an elbow. There's the strike from the bottom we anticipated we might see from Maurice Smith. It did no damage, though, on Randy Couture. Although they always talk about it. I know what you're going to say, partner.
I'll tell you,
it always does a little damage.
That's right. It may not be physical, but what it is mental. Randy now is going to be extremely cautious when he raises himself up there of eating a heel or eating a Maurice Smith punch. And so in a way, that may remove a weapon that Maurice has to worry about. But I think Maurice is trying to get Randy to go ahead and raise up. He wants him to do that. And now that's going to confuse Couture. I think what he needs to do is go back to passing the guard and try to get to the mount position.
Let's do something.
Both have enjoyed their week with family and friends here in a great host country and a great host city in Shin, Yokohama, Japan, and it all culminates in this, as Couture is now in the guard of Smith, trying to deliver blows, and there's just a quick jab into Randy Couture. It's like two big trees trying to knock each other down. We have now fought over 8 minutes, 8 of the 15 minutes here in our heavyweight championship for the UFC Ultimate Japan title. Again, the striker from his feet trying to use some shots, and it looks like Couture might have got one in on Smith on the way back down.
I'm very impressed with Smith's grappling. I really feel his alliance with Frank has helped him immensely. His training with the Lions Den, Ken Shamrock, over the last couple of years has made this consummate striker also a grappler. So he's a striker-learned grappler. He's the first one to do that in the UFC, and you have to wonder, is he the prototype of more athletes to come?
Smith almost was able to get back to his feet. Now Couture trying to get to the back and rolling right quickly into his guard again with Smith. And you could hear Shamrock in the corner, roll, yelling out instructions.
That's the most dominant position for a rear naked choke. Randy didn't seize it right away, gave Maurice the opportunity to go ahead and roll back.
Nobody working right now. No stall yet, but John McCarthy will keep the fighters moving. It can be a resting position in your guard for Maurice Smith.
Now, what was interesting is Maurice also said, I don't think the mount is dominant for me. I think the guard is dominant for me, and that is because, one, he's a great heel striker there, able to kick from his back, and two, the elbows. When he has a person trapped in the guard who tries to work on passing the guard and moves down towards the legs, he is throwing elbows and punches and scoring there. So he actually likes the guard position better than the side mount, better than the mount.
Cross training so evident in both of these fighters. Couture made his first trip to Japan with his wife Tricia, and Maurice Smith has been here many times. The 36-year-old, hugely popular in this country as he has fought in many pancrase and ring tournaments through his kickboxing career from Seattle, Washington.
The other thing that's very impressive about Maurice Smith is he's not laying in the guard. He's not just sitting there waiting for Randy to do something. He's staying active, he's posting arms, he's hooking legs, he's baiting them into trying to raise up and throwing strikes. At the same time, Couture has been, one, aggressive. He is trying to work from this position, but it doesn't seem that he can pass the guard, particularly this half guard. When Maurice Smith locks his ankles up around Randy's ankles, it's stuck there. Can't move.
Under 5 minutes now remaining, Jeff. 23 years of wrestling experience for Randy Couture. He is used to displaying a level of patience. He knew tonight would be a chess match, and it would be all about control.
And if you try to sprint against Maurice Smith, you are wasting energy. And Randy Couture knew that. He knew he had to be composed here. Don't try to rush anything. Oh, there's some
shots. Yep. And now looking for some elbow strikes is Randy Couture, working on the head of Maurice Smith.
And that has been the best sequence thus far for Randy Couture. None of them were brutal shots, but they were good shots, and he had a few of them there in a row. And certainly that got Maurice Smith's attention. He began flailing there to try to beat the position so that he could get back to his defense.
A little blood coming out of the right nostril of Maurice Smith as the elbow strikes effective there. As you said, the best flurry so far in the matchup by Randy, the natural Couture.
And again, he's in that half guard.
Quick strike to the backside by Smith.
I think Randy will take one of those if he can improve his position. I mean, it's a very short punch, doesn't have a lot to it, but Smith, a good striker, it probably does have a little bit of a sting attached to it.
Kevin Jackson, interesting, he fought earlier tonight, said, you know, you have to, a lot of times before you make a move, weigh the positives and negatives, the potential risk of any particular small incremental move you might make in a match of competitors so highly talented.
It's my belief that wrestlers do have to learn submission, and the simple reason why is all of the rules that govern the sport of wrestling prevent you from doing submission. So it isn't something that any of these athletes really train at. Until they get involved with mixed martial arts, they don't do submission grappling. And now, oh, and Couture, great job. It looked as though Smith was going to get away. Couture, with his wrestling ability, able to seize control again with a quick shot as they separated. And again, Smith is on his back, Couture in his guard.
Approaching regulations period time to end. We have just about under 3 minutes remaining in the 15 minutes of regulation. We would then have 2 3-minute overtime periods. As the master striker is down on the bottom now, trying to keep his guard tight, pushed up against the fence of the octagon. Couture is trying to strike. Smith, as we have seen already, can strike from the down position on his back.
A couple strikes there by Couture.
Now Couture trying to work free the left hand. And under 2 minutes remains in regulation of the heavyweight championship. This is truly the ultimate of ultimate fights tonight, and truly the ultimate of 2 elite athletes who are cross-trained.
Keep the knees up. Knee him in his head, knee him in his side.
Very quiet here in the building,
go.
watching
You
the
gotta work the striking
tacticians work.
motion.
They
Come on,
respect the
striker.
skills of these athletes. All mixed martial arts competition are treated this way over here in Japan.
Right, small strike.
Quiet being respect for the fighters, respect for the fight in.
Gotta push, Mo.
Oh, there's a left hand. Two or three left hands, and now taking the top. Rolling to the back and rolling back
Oh, you
down
gotta take
is
monkey roll.
Maurice Smith.
You gotta
Well, I
do
felt
monkey roll when
Maurice
you go
took the
there.
fight to Couture early with some good strikes. Couture got the takedowns, which means I felt that he was ahead on the grappling, perhaps. And now striking on the ground, it seems as though Couture is starting to get himself in a position.
Work something.
This is still a very close fight. I'm not saying anyone is ahead, but certainly it seems as though Couture is starting to build as he's flurrying those little shots into Maurice's head.
Under a minute now remains, Jeff. Here in the regulation time period. Remember the criteria of the judges. When they make a decision is on aggressiveness, striking,
Work that knee,
grappling.
Nemo. Use the
Judges
Nemo.
here this evening have already rendered one decision in the matchups.
And it's hard to say who's aggressive. I think Maurice has been very active in the guard, and I think Randy Couture has been very active in trying to stay on top and take him down. Grappling-wise, I give it to Couture. Striking, it's very, very even. Couture's been able to punch down when he gets to the mount position and from some positions in the guard, but Maurice has also been able to strike on the feet and on the ground.
Now under 30 seconds remaining here in regulation of the championship bout for the title. Two-time defending champion Maurice Smith trying to win his third title. 10 seconds now.
Work right here. Hurt him at the end.
As time's starting to tick down.
Come on, Mo.
And this is going to be interesting. I really think now this isn't just a big advantage for Maurice Smith here getting back to his feet. It can also be an advantage for Couture. He may be able to get some takedowns and help build his grappling, where Maurice Smith, obviously, on his feet, is going to look to go ahead and strike. Both feel they may be in a position. Both are hanging out of the fence, both taking a little bit of water. This has been a very skilled, very calculated fight thus far. No one has ever had the clear upper hand at any time. Smith struck early and a few times on the ground. Couture was able to take him down and then eventually led to a few flurries of strikes while in Maurice Smith's guard. So it's a tight fight, very tough to call.
Couture, part of the Raw team, Real American Wrestlers. His son Ryan is a first-year wrestler in high school now. He said he's a tough kid, likes to fight, doesn't ask for advice, and Randy said it's harder for me to watch him than him to watch me. He is watching Dad tonight.
Both have
Home in Oregon.
Both have their mouths open breathing, so both are sucking a little bit of wind, but you have to wonder here, Maurice Smith likes to strike from his feet. Can Randy draw him out?
There's a big hit with the leg, but Randy goes right for the single leg. But that, again, punishment with those chops to the leg on the big kick of the master striker.
It's a trade-off. Couture said, kick me, I'll take you down, and that's exactly what happened. Hard to say who wins that exchange.
You could hear that one here, though. That one definitely hit the leg of Couture.
Maurice again adds points to striking. Couture adds points to grappling. Who's more aggressive? They both went after each other. This is a tough fight.
Excellent point, because those are our three criteria that the judges will have to render a decision possibly on here tonight, Jeff.
Oh, right there might have been an opportunity for Maurice Smith to knee, and instead Couture brings a knee up to the side and belts Maurice in the side of the head. I felt knees might be the biggest thing for Maurice Smith to win. It's the only thing Couture really hasn't seen of him.
Side mount now for Couture. Can he strike Maurice Smith from this position? An elbow one way, an elbow the other.
Well, Maurice's elbow had nothing. I mean, he has no place to put that elbow against Couture's hip or ribs. And really, Randy's was more just to make Maurice stop.
As Frank Shamrock looks on. Let's listen.
Okay, you gotta set him up for it.
Keep your elbow on him.
Make a strike now. Make a strike. Don't let him wear on you.
You hear him yelling elbows, but neither are in a good position to get any kind of power or any really room to get an elbow started.
Cover him up in there.
Couture should look to try to strike here. That's his way back in again with striking points. Maurice an effective guard, but right now he hasn't tried to do anything to improve from this position.
Let's work it. Let's work.
Under a minute now remaining in overtime session number one. We're approaching 18 minutes of match time. We said both of these athletes excellently conditioned. It is proving to be an accurate point in our match here.
Well, I don't think either one of these guys are gonna fag out in terms of conditioning. I think their cardio is right up there. The big problem here is going to be whether or not one of them can get a big bomb in, where you saw Maurice's heavy leg kick, but at the same time, Couture got the takedown. So it is just small pluses here and there, and it's up to the judges to add them up.
15 seconds now remaining in overtime number 1. Neither competitor ever defeated in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. 3-0 for the natural Randy Couture, 2-0 for Maurice Smith, who in 17 years of competition has never lost a title defense. 4-0 in mixed martial arts events, and now ready to head to a second overtime. Any clear advantage so far?
I don't feel there's a clear advantage. I mean, aggressiveness, they're both aggressive. Striking, maybe Maurice, I don't know. It's up to the judges to decide that. Grappling, I think you have to say Couture, because he's gotten the takedowns. He's been able to pass Maurice Smith's guard. He's been able to control Maurice Smith on the ground, but hasn't really gotten to a position of superior advantage where you can really finish him with either a submission hold or any kind of a strike. This is really too close to call.
The original mixed match martial arts tournament here in the birthplace of martial arts, and our heavyweight championship bout has come to this. For the martial artist, this is truly the top of the mountain. The question is, if it continues to go the full 3 minutes of our second overtime, who will be crowned the heavyweight champion? Who will stand at the top of the mountain?
3 minutes separate these two superb fighters. The grappler turned striker versus the striker turned grappler.
So you guys do something. Are you ready?
Here we go, John. Big John McCarthy starts our second overtime. Smith Couture. In the 18th minute. Man with the master striker likes to stay on his feet for a bit. Couture covering up his face very well with the left hand. Oh, there's a shot. It just snuck in. Did not get the chin, though, on a square hit by Maurice Smith.
I have to wonder, you have to ask yourself, does Randy want to move forward into something or draw Maurice Smith to him? He either wants to get inside and clinch or get Maurice Smith to chase him and then come under him. Get momentum coming to him so he can get the takedown.
And strikes are points here, too, in the ref's decision. And so is grappling and takedowns. And there it is once again. The wrestler brings this game down to the ground.
Oh, there's something unique. He went ahead and kneed him from... It's not a mount. It's more of a side mount, even though he's out front a little bit.
So some good strikes landed by Maurice Smith. And now again the match taken to the ground. And under 2 minutes remains here now in overtime. And our match.
Randy's locked around his head. He's got it real tight, the arm to the head. Maurice really can't move, and there's pressure there. You can see Maurice is not comfortable. Is it a submission lock that he's going to tap out of? That's tough to tell. I don't think it's that tight. He's trying to set up that knee, but all he's doing is catching his thigh on the top of Randy's head. No damage.
There's the knee.
Oh, a couple great knees by Randy Couture there.
3 left knees into the top of the head. Not the back of the head, but the top of the head, and that's okay.
Get him up the fence and knee on him.
This has been
up near the fence.
Such a calculated fight. This has just been little victories here and there for both fighters. Tough call for the judges, but the one thing you always say about a championship fight, the challenger has to take it from the champ. This has been very close. Randy scored some great knees, a couple punches there, so maybe that might be enough in the judge's eyes. Who's to say?
Under a minute now to go. These two competitors, the ultimate of ultimate fighters, it looks very much now are going to go the distance. 21 minutes.
The one thing you have to say, though, this fight has basically taken place on the ground. Couture's land, not Smith's. That may weigh in the judge's decision. But I'm not saying that's the biggest factor. I think Maurice has done a great job of defense against Couture.
30 seconds now remains.
But he has not been able to bring his best weapons to bear. Just a couple punches, maybe one or two kicks at best.
Couture with such great quickness, able to shoot towards the legs each time that Smith leaned in just that slight bit to throw a strike. It looks very much now that the decision is going to be rendered by the judges ultimately. 10 seconds remains. 5 seconds now.
And this is going to go to the judges. What a great fight. What a great fight. Two conditioned, two superior athletes. Maurice Smith doesn't look real confident. Neither does Randy. Neither is showing anyone that they feel they are the winner. I give grappling to Couture. I give aggressiveness to both. Might be able to hedge that to Couture because he was able to get to the positions he wanted. Striking, I think, is basically even. So it's going to be a tough call.
Mr. Fukasi from Shuto, the Japanese fighting organization, John Peretti, former kickboxing champion, and our alternate referee, Joe Hamilton, are judges tonight. Aggressiveness, striking, and grappling. The three criteria that will soon render our decision as the heavyweight championship belt will be awarded. We are awaiting the decision here inside the octagon. Bruce Buffer will soon share it with all here inside Yokohama Arena and those viewing Ultimate Japan on pay-per-view.
It's hard to tell. Neither one of them look as though they want that they've won. Maurice, though, does look like he has it.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 overtimes, we have to go to the judges' cards for a decision. One judge has it, a draw. 2 judges show the winner and new UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Randy the Natural Couture.
So for the first time in 17 years of competition, Maurice Smith has lost the title defense. One judge, as Bruce said, called the fight a draw. The other 2 give the nod to the natural, Randy Couture. And Randy Couture is now the king of the hill. He's at the top of the ultimate mountain. He is the heavyweight champion in the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Of UFCJ, along with
now in the ring is Jeff Flatnick with Maurice Smith.
Maurice, it was a tough loss, a judge's decision. Really, one of them had it a draw. Your thoughts on the outcome?
Well, basically all Randy did was held me down very good. That's it. I mean, he got a couple shots, I got a couple shots. The draw seemed about right. All he did was control the bottom. If that's big, making a fight, win or lose, I can't say that's a good decision. I look at it like he got a few strikes, and basically, like I say, just wrestling, holding me, which he's just very good at. But I don't see him better. He's going to beat me up.
In all honesty, though, he did get a few shots in with his knees, few with the strikes. What do you think the judge's determining factor was?
Just he's on top a lot, that's all. Basically control. The knees, nothing hurt me. If you count the scoring, that's fine. But, no, it's okay. I mean, I'll go back again. I'm not worried about it, because I said he had good control, and I kept him in the ground very long, and that was it. That was the main thing.
Maurice, you've been a class act all this time.
I'll be back. Don't worry. I'll be back.
And that was my next question. When would you think we can see you again?
On the next fight, probably. I'm now... Yeah, of course, I'm sorry, John McCarthy. But, like I said, that's the way it goes, and I'm not going to sit and cry about it. He held me to the ground very well, and that's the deciding factor. It is a kind of grappling sport, but he did a good job.
Congratulations, Maurice. Great effort out there.
Good for John. I mean, good for...
Well, what a great former champion and what a great competitor here in the UFC. And there is the new champion being interviewed now inside the octagon by Japanese television. And there is the heavyweight championship belt, worn for the first time by the natural Randy Couture, up with a champion of his own.
Randy, congratulations. A very calculated fight, a very close fight. Your thoughts?
First, I'd like to thank God for all his blessings on me and a Merry Christmas. I knew it was going to be a very close fight. I think I said that in my interview. A lot of guys came out and they tried to devastate Maurice right off, and he's too composed and too conditioned to do that. I knew it was going to be a matter of being able to take him down and control him. I expected it to go long. I figured it would. No one had did any damage to him in the past, and I didn't expect that I'd be able to either. I'd hoped he'd make a mistake and give me a chance to put a submission on. He stayed in real good position. He gave me his back one time, and right away he rolled off, and before I could put anything on him. So it was a great fight.
What do you think the deciding factor was for the judges to award you the decision?
I don't know. I guess he got a few shots in on his feet, but other than that, he really didn't get a chance to do anything to me. He just tried to tie me up on the mat as best he could and hoped I'd spend a lot of energy. You know, I was tired, but I knew he was tired too, and was pretty controlled. So I think that was the difference, just the control, the position was on the mat.
Did you really ever feel in your fourth mixed martial arts competition, match competition, did you feel that you would be the heavyweight champion of the UFC?
No, it's a big surprise. I kind of, something I just wanted to try, and it ended up getting in because another guy got hurt, so it's kind of been a fairy tale for me. Just try to take it one fight at a time, and this is where we ended up, so it's a real great surprise for me.
Well, you showed great composure here in the octagon. You never really lost your head. You never really got outside of yourself. Is that really a reflection of your personality?
That, and I just think years of competition in wrestling, this is just one more competition for me, and I think that high level of competition makes a big difference when you get into the scrambles in here.
Well, a lot of people want to get to know Randy. You showed no emotion, and you're now the heavyweight champion. You know, some people want you to see you walking the tightrope around the octagon. Again, you're very, very, it almost seems shy and modest.
I guess that's just me. I'm not real big on showboating or talking or running my mouth. I like to compete, and that's what I came here to do, and I was fortunate to win.
Well, we look forward to seeing you again defending your belt.
Thank you, Jeff.
Back to you, Mike.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff. And undefeated and now the heavyweight champion of the UFC is Randy Couture. He joins great champions like Royce Gracie, Dan Severn, Marco Rujas, Don Fry,